Good evening and welcome, everybody, '07 citizens. This is Into the Verse. I'm your host,
Hell
Vintage,
yeah.
co-host over here,
OG, what's up, y'all?
and we are basically this is episode one of the podcast. One of my brainchilds I've been working on for probably at least the last 8 months or so that I've had the idea and finally able to get it off the ground. So I'm extremely excited. So for those who take the time out of their day to watch this, I much appreciate it. Thank you very much. We have basically it's just going to be a fluid conversation about different topic ideas and things like that. Today we're pretty much going to be talking about current patches and just kind of give y'all an intro to who we are, background, things like that if you're interested. And at the end, OG is going to read off something for us. And we see how you like that. But
Heck yeah.
again, my name is Vintage. I've been back in the game for almost 2 years now. I came in, I believe, right about the tail end of 314. And even though we're only at 319, it's only been about 5 patches total, but there's been a lot of subsequent patches in between those, like a
Yes.
point one,
Yes.
point two, all that kind of, especially with 317.5 being like, what was it, point five patches or something like that before 318 actually hit and
Yeah.
then bombed the entire thing. But
Heck yeah.
it's been good times, and it's I believe it's going to continue to be good times.
Hell yeah.
Probably and my best experience and worst experience is one. It was probably 2 weeks fresh in. You remember the story because I've told you this before. But and it was I had just met up with a guy who had helped me do a bunker, and he was like, "Hey, come join this org of mine. Like, come hang out with us for a couple days. Maybe you'll want to be active or whatever." And they were getting ready to host like a 3-day RP event, and I had never done RP before or whatever, anything like that. So I was just kind of curious, and I tagged along. Well, we were at Area 18 R Corp, and they were up in orbit around Bygenie. And so I'm got into my Reliant core and doing a full burn out of Atmo. And I'm in my Moby Glass trying to figure out, like, what in the world, like, why I can't quantum to them even though I'm out of Atmo. Wasn't paying attention to how close I was, and straight smack dab into the side of the carrack that they had fully loaded with, like, I don't know, like 10 people, all their gear, guns, weapons, supplies, like anything and everything, you name it, it was packed in on that ship. Vehicles, and like you just see everything just like kind of floating out there and everything. I'm just like, oh man, these guys are gonna freaking kill me. And dude, like my stomach was just, it sank so low and everything like that, and like everybody was like, oh, who did that? And I was like, yeah, the new guy. Yeah, it was so horrible, so
But
horrible.
man, you've gotta go through these things to learn.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a firm believer in do it the hard way. Do it the hard way, learn about it, done with it. You know know damn well you're not gonna do that again. You
No.
know? You're not
And
gonna do that again.
to be quite honest, I don't think I have.
I
But
have.
what was?
I
Well,
have. So
go ahead and introduce yourself there, OG.
So I'm OG. I've been playing for about a year now, just about something like that. I think I joined in right at the beginning of 317.
I think it was too. Because I
I think it was.
I was talking you into getting the game for the longest time.
Yes,
So
yes. So been playing for a little bit. Of course, I don't know everything about the game. Still in a learning progress, just as we all are. This game is insane. I mean, there's so much, especially if you dive into the lore of it.
oh yeah,
It is crazy. It's unlike anything I've ever played before. But my worst experience is here recently. We we were, I think we were running bunkers, something in that nature.
uh huh.
And with the 319 patch, 319.1 patch, there has been a big issue of ships becoming invisible. This is at least what I'm saying happened. Okay?
And it's your story, you're sticking to it, right?
Sticking to it. Sticking to it. So it was you and Cloak, who you all are going to meet in a later episode. They were in your Corsair.
Oh, this one. I remember this one now.
Yeah,
I know which one. Yeah.
I know you do. I know you do. Yeah, I know you do. So I'm in my glaive. I'm hauling. Coming in hot. All right. Meeting up with you. We're going to go down to this bunker. We're going to have a great time. Well, as I'm approaching, which may or may not have been paying attention, that I was only 200 meters away, 1,200 meters a second. I was going to do a flyby. Don't it? I was going to do a flyby. Okay. That's sticking to that, too. So, of course, didn't see you guys. Wasn't paying attention. Never seen your ship, by the way. Was that because I was going extremely fast?
Mock Jesus.
Possibly. But you were invisible is what I'm going to say. Okay. Crashed right into you. And then right after that, Cloak was telling me, the glaive used to be the tits.
Right.
Used to go up with the blade, cycle missiles, blow up bitches, So I was curious to see if it still worked. It works.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
It works, and Vintage's subscriber gear at the time can attest to it too. It's still in space.
Somewhere.
Still in space. But I don't look at it as a bad time. I felt bad. Yes, I did. I felt really bad. I mean, I didn't feel bad anymore. I'm good about it now. But it's a learning thing. The game has issues. We all work around the issues. And at the end of the day, we always find the light in everything, because this game is absolutely insane. It has changed the complete way that I think of gaming in general.
I agree with what you're saying, like, because for the longest time, like, I'm one of those people that came from Elite Dangerous after the Odyssey patch came out, and I specifically downloaded it on my PC, even though it was previously on my Xbox. And when I heard about the Odyssey patch, because previously, I don't know if you know this, but in Elite Dangerous, you were only able to fly around in your ship, like, and when you docked at the station, like, you weren't walking around like you are in Star Citizen or anything like that. Like that, it's not a thing. And so the Odyssey patch brought in the ability to walk around a station and walk around planet side, like on moons and things like that. So it's like, oh, this is going to be great. Like, I actually get to, like, maybe go out and explore a little bit and find a whole bunch of cool stuff, right? And it also introduced, like, first-person shooter-based type gameplay as well. So I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I played it, and I was like, I guess my expectations versus reality were completely thrown off, because when you exit the ship to get onto the station, it's literally just like you see yourself, getting out of the, like, it just, the seat spins, right? And that's it. Like, there's just that one animation, and then boom, you're out of the ship, and it's just, there's nothing else. And I'm just like, all right, well, that kind of sucks, but whatever. And then, like, you walk to the airlock and then walk around inside the station. And I was just like, okay. I was like, whatever. So this is the station thing. And then you would go down on the planet side, and I don't know, like, it was okay. The one thing I did like about, though, with Elite Dangerous is that the galaxy, like, the Milky Way galaxy, was like a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Like, it had a whole buttload of stars. You could go to the center of the galaxy and visit black hole and all that. Like, like, that part of it was cool, and you could find all sorts of crazy things and really explore space, which is something I've always wanted to do. But it left a lot lacking, and I'm not saying that Star Citizen is gonna fulfill that void, that what I'm looking for, but it really does have the potential, Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It does. It is definitely lacking in the amount of systems right now, but that's supposedly going to change at some point, whenever that is. But yeah, it definitely has the potential for that. Speaking though of 319.1, what do you think of the current patch?
I think that it is heaps and hurdles over 318.
Well, yeah, that
Heaps, heaps and hurdles. Heaps and
dude,
hurdles.
so 319 compared to, I want to say it was either 316 or 315. It's I don't, my memory sucks, but one of those two patches, it was the stability for me was complete absolute garbage. Like I was 30K'ing quite a bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what everybody else experienced, but for me, like I was 30K'ing like a whole bunch. 319, I've noticed I don't 30K as much. Like 319.1, I don't 30K as much, but I feel like, and from what I hear, like 319 compared to like the older patches, like 310 or something like that, or whatever it was, like there was just a really bad patch. Like people were 30K in like 30 minutes max. It was the gameplay at a time before you got disconnected and you had to relaunch everything. And I think that was before they had 30K protection too. So
Yeah.
but I definitely like overall that it's leaps and hurdles better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, 30K is a 30K. We all deal with it, you know. Sometimes you get lucky, you find a good server, you could be in it 4 hours plus and be good to go, you know. And there's other times where you get in for an hour or two, you start doing something really important that you really don't need to mess up, like fully loading an 890 or, things like that. And then and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this all over again.
Yeah.
And it's you kind of learn to live with it, you know. But as far as 319.1 for me, I've had very minimal issues. Biggest issues I've had here, at least recently, not with this patch, but previous patches. Hanger issues, elevator issues, invisibility issues.
What do you mean by hanger issues?
When I first got the glaive, I had such a hard time getting in it and getting out of the hanger. Use your Altium keybind, doesn't do anything, can't call for it.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah.
I got.
I couldn't. Calling for pads, impossible. Previous patches, not now. Everything working great. I do like the, what do you call it? When you call for a pad that shows the
ATC
area. Yes. I think that's a very nice touch. Very nice.
Oh, you're talking about the little holographic rectangle. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was actually in previously. I think when I was in 314, they had that, and then it disappeared.
Yeah.
So it was
I don't think I ever experienced it before.
No. Yeah. It went away for a little bit, and I don't know why they finally decided to bring it back. Like, I guess server stability is a little bit better to where it works properly.
It's great.
I have noticed, though, like when you actually, hit the keybind or use your Moby Glass, if you're old school like that, it definitely is more responsive, I guess would be the term to use.
It is very close to being instant in some cases.
Yeah.
Very close. I mean, it's almost spot on.
Yeah. I've had pretty good luck with it, so that's...
Yeah, I have too. I've had very good luck. This so far, 319.1 is a very stable patch, other than your normal 30Ks, which is something we've learned to deal with as a community. At the end of the day, you got to realize, the game's not out yet. They're still fixing stuff and still adding stuff,
Right.
But yeah, as Star Citizen as a whole has completely changed the way that I look at games. I come from the complete opposite side that you do. I'm just now jumping into this space stuff. I played a bunch of survival games. Ark played a bunch of. I was that 13-year-old talking about your mom on Call of Duty. Rainbow Six Siege, played that for a good while.
Right.
And it's come from, kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything. Racing games, big car guy, gearhead, so gotta play with my cars. But yeah, it's Star Citizen has completely changed me. My first experience with Star Citizen was crazy. I just had no idea.
You
Just had no idea.
So speaking of that, like
Mm.
like your first impression from first logging in till
Yes,
now, and you were actually able to experience IE this past year, weren't you?
I was. That was
Was
cool. That
yeah,
was cool. I enjoyed the hell out of that because you don't get to see all the ships all in one spot,
right.
right? And you don't get to see most of the ships that are there because most of them you can only buy in game, but not everybody's gonna buy them. So
Yeah,
you don't get to see them too often. But IE was insane. It was so cool, man. It was it was cool.
I love that fresh life, man. It's
Yes, it was. Oh man, and Xenothreat, I got to experience Xenothreat. That was cool too. It was
I
it was terrifying, but it was cool.
I love Xenothreat, and it
I did too.
oh man, that was my first event too. Coming in when I first started, it was
Yeah,
I think it was Xenothreat and then Invictus launch week is what I
yeah,
got to experience. Like when I first joined
yeah.
in, I thought Invictus, which speaking of which, we just had Invictus recently.
There we did. Yeah.
I thought Invictus was cool, and I was like, oh, this is awesome! All these military ships and everything. Like you can go on there,
Hmm.
excuse me, you can look at them and everything, and it. I was just like, this is like SEMA's car show, but for like
Yeah,
spaceships in a game, and I loved it.
yeah.
And I got to
And
see what those shows kind of almost helped me figure out like what kind of ships I kind of was geared to and wanted
that's what
to
I was just gonna
use.
say.
Yeah. So we're
Yes,
on the
that's
same
what I was
page.
just gonna say.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Because if you get to experience IE, if you ever have the chance to, highly recommend. I
Absolutely. Yeah.
just even if you can't do it for go through everything, just take a quick 30, go out there, run around and look at stuff. But
Yeah.
the coolest thing about IE is that you can actually open up the ships, get into them, check them out, get in the cockpit, sit down in the pilot seat, and get to see. Like my biggest thing when it comes to ship is what can I see and what can't I see.
Yeah.
Some
Like
ships
field
you
of
don't
view or whatever,
you,
like cockpit
some
view.
ships you
Yeah.
can't see nothing. You kind of like closing and squinting the other eye, flying around.
Which, speaking of which, like you had the Connie Andromeda at one point. Like, what are you talking about
Yes.
with that horrible
Yes.
field of view?
Hence is why I no longer have the Connie. But that's one of the big things for me. If I can't see what I'm doing or just don't like the layout of everything,
Hmm.
I'm not going to be a fan of the ship. That's one of the biggest. This is one of the main things, or that is the main thing you see 24/7 in your ship. Is what you
Yeah.
can see outside of it. You
I'm
know?
don't get me wrong, like I'm a fan of the Connie, especially the
I am
Andromeda
too.
with the freaking missile boat
Yes.
going on thing. Like,
Yes.
jeez. And I
Yes.
think it's a good like first step into a multi crew, like
I think
actual
it's a great
multi
step.
crew
Yes.
vessel besides the Cutlass.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and my main gripe about it was when I had it.
Mm.
Maybe it was pilot error. I don't know. We'll
Definitely
just
pilot
say it
error.
was the ship's fault. But whenever I'd go to land, like my nose would just sit here and do this seesaw
Yeah.
crap, and I'm like, come on.
Now I remember you telling me that before I bought it. Like, dude, you're not gonna like it, man. It's gonna you never gonna be able to land this thing, man. It's not gonna work. And I got it, to Hail Mary because I don't care what Vintage Tales means.
Yeah, I know you don't.
And so I bought it, and I never had that issue one time. So I guess they fixed it. But the only complaint that I
Yeah, they
ever
must
had
have
about the
fixed it.
Connie, yeah, was the field of view. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
But
But 52 missiles.
yeah, I love 52
That's
missiles.
all you got to say. 52 missiles. That's it.
Launch 4 at a time.
52.
No F's given. But speaking of what was it, 319, I think was the introduction to Ghost Hollow.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know what Ghost Hollow is basically a PvE VP mission because there are NPCs there and they do show up.
Yep.
And then you also have other players that show up. And memory serves me correctly, there's like 2 consoles. And if you can hold them, they basically I think they give you up to from what I heard, I think the max is like 150K. I haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
I am not the greatest at PvP. It is not something that I just was like itching to get into, but I do think the mission style is very cool. Like, don't get me wrong,
think so
like
as well. Yeah.
I like the idea of how they're trying to incorporate and make us interact in that aspect. It's just I choose not to participate because most of the time I'm like, oh, I'm wearing, you know, my new subscriber knife, or I got like my subscriber helmet on or whatever. I'm like, I want to freaking lose this stuff and I don't want to take it off, so I'm just gonna say no.
And here comes me. Bang, I need that knife.
Yeah.
Let me get that.
Jack wagon.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think Ghost Hall is really I think it gives the verse a different gameplay style. If you know what I mean. Like, it gives it something kind of out of the ordinary. You know, you're not doing your box missions, your bounties, your NPC targeting, things like that. You get to experience some PvP, and there's not many occasions that happens. Only occasions that I have ever had that happen is someone trying to blow me up at PO. You know, coming in with the Eclipse, shooting a torpedo. I gotta go chase him down. Don't ever find him because it's an Eclipse.
He's got like a 3K signature rating or whatever it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
but I think the most fun that I've had at Coast Hall was here recently. I went down there by myself one day. I think I was in a fresh server, so it wasn't really. Yeah, it was really weird. That's why I enjoyed it so much. Went down there, you know, a couple NPCs, you know, very easy to take care of. No players, thankfully, because usually when I go down there, I get bombed. It is what it is. As soon as I get down there, here comes the C2.
A2, yeah.
A2, yeah. Here comes this A2. Oh, look at that. That's gonna hit me. There's no point in running.
You go make it 500 meters away before it hits.
That's exactly it. Went down there and found a bunch of cool loot. I found like a G2 Executives helmet, which is a gold helmet. Okay. Cool. I need to find the rest of it. Don't know how I'm going to, but I need to find it.
I don't either.
I've become more of a loot goblin here lately.
Right, so have I. Like, I think I recently found. So I don't. Our corp. There's that guy like in this red armor that sits like right in front of where you would go to, like if you wanted to rent a ship or if you're going to go to the hangars.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He has a dust up red chest piece and dust up arms. I found the arms the other day. So I was excited about that.
And steal everything else.
Just go bonk him. Yeah, go bonk him in Armistice. Go ahead and do that. Yeah. But
we'll figure it out.
I was excited for that. So, so there was. I'm trying to find my place here for a second, but there was a monthly report that had come out recently about weapon wear and tear.
I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be cool. So depending on how they implement it.
Right.
Now, if I can only shoot, say I have a P4, it's got a 30 cal magazine in it. If I can only shoot 3 or 4 magazines before my weapon has to be clean and will jam on me, I'm not going to be a fan of it. If there is going to be that, I want it to be longevity. You know, I want it to be realistic. You know, when you go out to the range, you don't clean your gun ever. I mean, some people do, but you don't clean it every single time.
What?
Huh?
You supposed to?
Huh?
Dude, every time I go to the range and I mess with my firearms, like when I get back to the house, it's clearing them and then cleaning them. What do you mean? No, oh my. Anyway, that's a
complete.
Yeah,
different subject, different topic. We'll talk about that another day. I may clean it today now that you said something. But
oh my god.
I think that if you go down to a bunker, right, and you find,
remember me not to put you on point in mission when this comes out, so that way I don't have to worry about you getting us all killed.
See,
this is your firearm.
This is where you forget that I got hands too. Okay, I put someone to sleep real quick in game, real quick. You've seen it. You've seen me run in those bunkers, no weapon whatsoever.
Just wait. Because, okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, so right now, you got a bunch of people. I'll be nice about it because I can't stand it because I'm one of those people that I get immersed into a game and I want to, you know, go in there. You want to
enjoy it.
Right, yes. I want to go in there like Spec Ops style, you know, and just whatever, you know. But there's other people that are just straight out of Respawn, it looks like. They got their goop suit on, their white helmet, their white suit, and they just bum rush through, right? And they just incapacitate. And all 10 of them, or if you got the waves, and I'm just like, I hate you so much right now. Like, I cannot stand that crap. I hate that with a passion. Like, it ruins it for me. Like, I don't say anything because it's like, that's your play style, whatever. Do what you want.
Yeah. I completely understand.
I want to smack this shit out of him so bad. I hate it. I cannot.
I completely get it. Look, at the end of the day, man, everyone has got their own way they do things. Yeah. The own way that they play their game. Their own way. Their own way. They want them. No. They want them to play with them. You know? Like when we get in we're in Oregon. Once we run our events, depending on who's running the events, it's going to depend on what kind of style that we go with. Mm-hmm. Either going to be more of a chill event, more serious event. Are we going to go through our formations going into this bunker, or are we just kind of go in there and just shoot some shit, you know? Yeah. But I think it's one of the funniest things when you have me finally getting down this slow elevator, right? Railgun on hand. Charge shot as soon as I break the corner. I don't even look. I don't care who's there. Just let it go.
Stat be damned.
Just let it go. I don't care who's there. Don't care who's there.
Speaking of org related activities, what would be as far as all that goes and whatnot? Like what would you consider your best experience with like an org related activity?
Oh man. So it was, I think it was 5 or 6 of us. Mm-hmm. I think. So we had 4 retaliators. No, we had 5 retaliators and 1 eclipse. Mm-hmm. And we were doing critical threat missions. I am a sucker for beacons. That is my.
I know. Yeah, I remember
that is my cup of tea. I think it is something about going in and A, running into a ship and exploding, or B, blowing a ship up. It's only 2 things that's going to happen.
Either way, an explosion is bound to happen,
it's great.
Right?
It's great. I feel like I'm a Transformers movie every time. You know, I'm having a blast.
Oh my god.
So we're doing critical threats, right? And everybody knows what the Idris is. It is the capital ship. It is the capital ship. Just my opinion on it. It's great.
Well, I mean, there is the Bengal carrier, but we can't touch any of the capital ships right now.
Yeah, we can't do that yet. But it's nasty. If you don't have a group of buddies, you're not gonna do it. Mm-mm. Simple as that. Hammerheads, you can do that solo. You can do hammerheads depending on what you got. I've done it in the Glaive a couple times.
We did it in the
we did in the Scorpius.
Yeah, we did in the Scorpius a few times.
Another great ship.
I love that.
Big fan. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And so we go in. We'll fight off the Cuddies. The Eclipse, usually we had it sending out missiles to the Hammerheads, getting rid of those. Mm-hmm. And then all 5 of us Retaliators would come in at once and all send torps to this Idris, and it was the coolest thing ever. We did like 3 or 4 of them that night, made a couple million, AUs.
Yeah, because most of the time they're like 300K a pop or something like that.
Yeah. It's insane, man. And that's probably going to be one of the most memorable moments that I've had.
Besides sticking your blades out and killing my Corsair.
Well, that's burnt into your head and mine. That's not going anywhere. I felt bad in the moment. I don't care anymore. It is what it is. You can suck it up. That's just Sky Brigade.
Oh, and the true colors show.
It does. Episode 1, baby.
Right off the cuff, man. Jesus.
But yeah, that was that was the coolest thing I've experienced. Other than my first 20 minutes in game, you know,
Right.
experience of Carrick for my first time. That was cool.
I think that is like being. I don't know if anybody else, especially in the community, would consider me a veteran player, but I brought in several people.
Yeah.
And have walked them through the game. Like some of them still play. Like you're one of them. I think your brother's the other one. And brought in like 3 or 4 more other people. And each time I get to go, I'm like, all right, what do you want to like? And they're just like, man, just show me the game. Like, just kind of like walk me through my first steps. And this is before New Player Experience was out too, by the way.
Yes.
Which that's a new addition for what was it, 318? I think.
Yeah, and I think that's a good addition too, because I think the New Player Experience, I think it's a great aspect for new players, because if I didn't have you when I first jumped into the game, I probably wouldn't have given Star Citizen a chance it deserves. Just blatant honesty, because there's so much, and I'm you. Like I said, you know, we're from 2 completely different styles of gaming. So I'm used to going out. All right, I got this mission. I got to do this. Okay, what's next? Got to beat this boss. You know. So I probably wouldn't have given it the chance that it deserves, because I wouldn't know where to start. It's crazy.
So to add to that, like I see what you're saying, because I almost did quit, but it almost became like a challenge to me to like kind of figure out the game on my own. When I first started off, because there was no, okay. So when I first and I still remember this to this day, my very first spawn location was New Babbage, right? And I come out of the bed and I'm like, how do I get out of this stupid room?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, you know?
I was like, I figured out how to get out of the room. You know, like I would see like the cursor change its style or whatever, and I seen things light up or whatever at the door. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, like, I am not going to go look at the keybinds. I will figure it out. I don't know why I put that kind of stipulation.
Not that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I put that stipulation on myself. Like, I really don't understand why I do that, but it's just one of those things. But anyway, then, like, I come out of the habitation area, find the elevator, get down to the lobby, and I'm like, where the F do I go? And, like, I'm looking around, and I start, and after about, 10 or 15 minutes, I noticed signs. And I was like, hold up. So I started following the signs, and some of it was kind of confusing, got turned around, ended up at the back of the same place, and all this other stuff. But I eventually made it to the hangar. I made it to the hangars all by myself without asking anybody anything. And I saw like the area to like call my ship, and I eventually got that done and whatnot. And I was basically at that point I was like following other people like up to where the ASOP terminals were. So I didn't find it on my own very easily, but I was only following another player. But anyway, and freaking I get in the ship and I'm like, all right, how do I get out of this thing?
Yeah.
And to me, that was the biggest thing of like where I started, you know. And so I went into global chat and I was like, how do I get out of this hangar? I was like, I'm a new player and I'm sorry. And everybody was like, go watch YouTube. I was like, really? I was like, all right, fine. So I exited the game, watched a couple of tutorial videos, and then went back in and got out of my hangar and never looked back since. Like that was like started doing my own missions and everything like that. Which we're actually going to talk about starter ships on episode 3, because I had the Mustang. And if you come back for episode 3, I will tell you exactly why I hate that piece of crap. Anyway, sorry, CIG, nothing bad, just personal preference. But anyway, so, and it's been a great experience ever since. Now, again, like I was stating with Elite Dangerous, expectations versus reality. My expectations were really high with this game because I knew nothing about it. Didn't do any kind of research before I downloaded it or anything like that. Just I was looking at content on TikTok, and because they, listen in on our conversations and everything like that, they started showing me stuff about space games, and Star Citizen was one of them. Yeah. And the videos I saw there for the short form content, I was like, man, this thing looks cool as crap. I was like, it's detailed. I was like, I can change out my attachments and all this on the fly, like looking at the gun. Yeah. I was like, I thought that was cool as crap. And I think it was Citizen Memes, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the content creators that I saw.
Yeah.
And so I hopped in, and because he was like, come explore the verse with us. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I come in, and I'm like, how do I get to another system? I was like, Stanton's boring. Oh, there's only one system in the game. I'm like, what? And so now I'm just like, but I was just like, all right, well, that's kind of depressing. But it was, I mean, it is what it is, and there's a lot of content in Stanton as it is.
There is a bunch.
Yeah, and they've added more content, even more so in there. And have you read the most recent monthly report? I think we went over that, didn't we? We were talking about the the what's it, the steel and deliver cargo missions or whatever, and the oh my god, I am drawing a blank. Like we were just talking about. Anyway, it was the most recent monthly report that we read, and it had the consignment missions, and all that. So I mean, they're constantly adding more content. Yeah, and you'll have to forgive me for totally drawing a blank on the monthly report, but
brain just shutting down.
Oh yeah, absolutely it did. I was like, what in the world?
But I do think that I think one of my favorite things about Star Citizen is the community. Me personally, I've had a bunch of people teach me stuff in global chat alone.
Yeah.
And I mean, 90% of the time, you'll be stuck with something, especially as a new player. You're going to, I don't care how much, you're going to not understand how something works, because when me and you started playing, you're like, all right, Grimex is here, you go down here to this elevator, the medical regeneration's right here on the left, this, that, and the other. I'm like, huh? I'm never going to remember that. Like, you'll get it. Just take some time. And it is true. It just takes some time of going through it. I didn't learn New Babbage till probably 6 months after I started playing the game, because I never went to it. I never experienced it. Was my biggest issue. You have to do it to learn it.
Yes.
It's simple as that.
And it's like driving around town. It's like you don't really know your town until you start driving around in it.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's exactly it. So. But Global Chat has helped me out a bunch. There's a bunch of great people in this community that we play with. They are down to help you and come run missions with you and, show you the ropes. A lot of the people on our org, that's how, most of us, a good bit of us met.
Mm-hmm. Just fluidly like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just, hey, running bunkers over here at Microtech. Need a couple extra weapons up behind me. Whoever wants to come, meet us here. This, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it was like a week or two ago. When the latest free fly event was going on. Had 2 brand new players in. They were buddies. They joined the game together, this, that, and the other. They're like, man, really like this red ship out here at PO. Oh, man, thank you. And then started to get talking with them on Global Chat. Like, hey, go have fun. Jump in it, go crash it. Not going to hurt me. Not going to affect anything with me. Go have a blast.
Oh, you let them take the glaive?
I did. And it made me feel good. Cause I'm like, man, I remember when I didn't have shit.
Squat.
I didn't have anything, and I would always borrow somebody else's, and have the best time of my life in it.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not the only one in the game that does that. There are hundreds of people that do that.
And I'm really glad you said that, because that really makes us think. It's kind of like, bugs be damned, 30Ks, all that and everything like that. Like when it comes down to it, when you're in a game with your buddies just having fun, like that's what it's really about.
Yes.
I know this game is an alpha, and it can be very taxing on patience and just overall anything for a person. Because of all the workarounds you have to do and stuff. Like I get that, but this game,
at the end of the day, we can all come together as a whole and just have a blast. Cause Everybody's got life stuff going on. Everybody needs
Exactly.
that little bit of break, on the weekends. Crack open a cold one, fly in space. What else can you ask for,
Man, I want a cold one.
Just, I've got a cold one. It's Sunday.
It's Sunday. But yeah, and I'm not trying to sound like a cheerleader for Star Citizen or anything like that, but I do love the game, and I want to see the project succeed completely because it's just, out of all the games, like I've said before, like when I was talking about Elite Dangerous, like I felt like something was missing. Like, I have not stuck with a game and just kept playing a game for over 8 months until I found Star Citizen, because I'm excited for the potential that it can have, and I'm excited for how in depth the game is because of the potential that this overall experience can provide. Because I didn't get that in Elite Dangerous, and I haven't gotten that on EVE. I even played EVE Online. Like, god dang, you better have like an IQ of like 3,000 or something. I don't know, man, because I couldn't even get past like the first initial training mission for like the science exploration thing. Like, that's how convoluted it seemed like to me at that time. I guess I could have watched another YouTube, but anyway, it has given me an experience like no other game. And I played a lot of RPGs and things like that, and I've spent a lot of hours doing it, but I've always ended up like, okay, I'm bored. Like, and I would go play something else like everybody else does, but then I never went back to it. Like, I've taken my breaks from Star Citizen, especially during pre-18.
Yeah. But we always come back to it.
Exactly. We always come back to it, and we go like from whatever it is. And it's, I think breaks are important for this game, but
I think so as well, because if we didn't have breaks, and like for instance, our last one, we were on a big Elden Ring kit.
Oh yeah,
the seamless call. It was great.
We had mods, man.
Yeah,
like just,
we did. It was a great experience. Great experience. We had a blast, and we did that for about a week or two during when 318 first released, just because.
We did it more than that. We had to convert. It was like a month or something, man, because we were just like, oh. Anyway,
but when we were like, all right, it's time to get back on our stuff. Let's jump in. Let's jump in. So we get back in, and we're like, man, it's like a new experience all over again every time that I take a break and come back to this game, because I find something new. Like, for this pre-break interval that we're having, I found out about loot. I had no idea. You know how many snaggle sticks there are in the verse? You know how many different kinds?
Oh my god!
You know how many snaggle sticks there are? Man, I've got every flavor of teriyaki snaggle stick. Every flavor. I got the green ones, the purple ones, the pink ones.
Dude, you remember that time? Did I tell you about that story about it was me, Dark, and Cloak, and we all dressed up in Armitex armor, and we had a green, a white, and I was the red one, and we was like, we're the Power Rangers. And we just go around being stupid, right? That's all we were doing. And we were down on a moon at a like a Shubin mining facility, and this dude was in like a C2, I think it was. First off, did not land it very well. At least on my screen, it didn't look like it was landed very well. It was like cattywampus on its side almost. But he left the ramp down. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be that guy. And Dark was that guy too, because he hopped on the ship and was like hiding around in the cargo area because the guy had went and bought cargo, and it was ridiculous. And I'm on the ramp, right, and this guy. Vertical thrusters must be OP as all get out, because when he hit the gas, it was like one of those funny cars going down a drag strip, because that sucker went straight up and knocked me off the ramp. Like, I went flying. I thought I was like, oh, well, I'm dead. Hit the ground. I was good because of low gravity, like, thank God. And so Dark is on the C2, and he sneaks his way up into the cockpit, and this guy is flying. He gets out of Armistice, and he was like, should I shoot him? I was like, I don't know. We could steal his shit and go sell it. I was like, we could be those people for today. Yeah. And he's like, all right, bet. And he gets behind the pilot, and he pulls his gun out and he goes, "Hey, you want a snaggle stick?" And just rails him in the back of the head with a coda or whatever he had on his. It was so funny for us. Like I know this guy who just bought a buttload of cargo, and like if this guy ever hears this story and remembers that happening, like we're sorry. We weren't trying to be dicks. It was just we were trying to have a good time, and you just paid the price.
You want a snaggle stick?
It was, and like that's like the thing, like we always say now. We're in the Discord. It's like, hey, you want a snaggle stick?
Hey, you want a snaggle stick?
It's ridiculous, but dude, oh man, I have such good times with the org. It's good stuff.
I think that is something. It's not necessary to play Star Citizen, but it makes your experience so much better. I mean,
Are we talking about being a dick or being in orgs?
No, a little bit of both. Being in orgs. I mean, we've got people all over the place.
Yeah, we got some in New Zealand and in Europe right now.
Yeah, we've got some in Canada as well.
Yep, we got Canada as well.
Yeah, and of course, we're in the States.
Yeah, good old Florida. Good old Florida. Oh man. Speaking of Florida, man, we're about to wrap this up. Is there anything you want to share with us about Florida?
I have got a great Florida man story from you.
Oh,
all right, so October 7th, 2019, right? Florida man arrested trying to get an alligator drunk. Now, I'm sure the alligator wanted the beer. It's not the man's fault. Gators just like beer sometimes. Timothy Kep, 27. Allegedly fed some beer to an alligator after his pal caught it with his bare hands in Palm City. But the reptile apparently wasn't a fan of the booze and bit him, and both men were later arrested. Why would you arrest a man for just trying to get a gator drunk?
First off, did it work?
I imagine. Yeah. Wait, all right, so if they caught the gator with their bare hands, it couldn't have been that big. Right.
Yeah, it had to have been like a small one.
Not your average Joe is not going to come up to this 14-foot saltwater croc, be like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch you and give you a Michelob Ultra." You know, that's not what most people think. Florida man, on the other hand, will do that, but I don't imagine that's what this was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like an infant or something like that, a baby.
Gators want a party too, man.
Gators want a party too. Well, guys, that is it. We do appreciate it. That was our little bit at the end. The little Florida man. We're gonna do one every episode. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe.
Let us know. And if there's anything that you guys want to see in the future, give us a comment down below. Let us know.
Absolutely, drop the comments. Y'all have a good one. We appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
Hey, Mini Vintage here. I just want to say thank you for all those that listen to this podcast. It means a lot to me and my dad. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, check the description down below for all our socials. 07 Citizens.